যে যেখানে আছেন ভালো আছেন আশা করি আমাদের সাথে আছেন আজকে লিডারশিপ এডুকেশন ইন নিউরো ডেভেলপমেন্ট অ্যান্ড আদার ডিসেবিলিটিস অন্যান্য ডিসেবিলিটিস তৃতীয় পর্ব প্রথম পর্বে আমরা বিভিন্ন বিষয় নিয়ে আলোচনা করেছিলাম 5টি বিষয় নিয়ে আলোচনা করার সুযোগ হয়েছিল আজকে অন্যান্য 5টি বিষয় 6টি 7টি হতে পারে বিষয় নিয়ে আলোচনা করব এবং এই আলোচনায় গত সপ্তাহে আমার সাথে ছিলেন যিনি তিনি আজও আছেন আমার সাথে স্টুডিওতে আপনারা ইতিমধ্যে জেনে গেছেন বুঝতে পারছেন কে আছেন আমার সাথে আছেন চেরিয়ান চিরসি MSED, BCBA, LBA, NSTP, Licensed Behavioral Analyst, Nationally Certified School Psychologist. Welcome back again.
Thank you for having me again.
I'm glad
good evening to all our viewers.
Okay, good. Last week, we actually discussed many things, and people who watched it, যারা দেখেননি এই লিঙ্ক গত সপ্তাহের অনুষ্ঠানের লিঙ্কটিও এখানে দেওয়া থাকবে আমরা যে সমস্ত বিষয় আলোচনা করেছিলাম গত সপ্তাহে ছোট্ট একটি রিমাইন্ডার দিতে চাই সেটা হচ্ছে আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং দ্য ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ ইভ্যালুয়েশন আজকে যেখান থেকে শুরু করব Cherry, we talked about those 5 things as I just mentioned. Today, I want to start with differentiate the IEP and 504 plan. But before you go there, we ended last episode, we were talking about red flags.
Yes.
And I had to cut you off because we were running out of time. I want you to start with some of the obvious red flag because we know if you have severe autism it's evident we can see it parents can see it there is no question about this but there are times when you know this is not autism it's a mild case of autism or something related to autism it could be ADHD
Yes.
Sometimes people tag ADHD with autism, which is not correct. But because of the lack of education and understanding, we do this. What are the red flags you would describe that can tell us that this person may be suffering from ADHD, and therefore we can help, or the parents can get help?
Yes. So for children with ADHD, they have similar symptoms for children with autism. But for children with ADHD, they have trouble paying attention. They could be like, they have impulsive behavior. They could be like climbing furnitures. They could be running around, or they could be a danger to themselves. Like, for example, if you're walking on the street and you're holding your child, this child might be run away from you or cross the street. And like, you have some parents would have difficulty to keep their child still. Like, for example, like they're in the car and they're driving and then the child will take off, remove the seatbelt, and you'll be in a dangerous situation. So we have to pay attention to these behaviors, and there are always support that whatever support that you want for your child, the government has already resources for you. We just have to ask and follow through with all these services.
Okay, thank you. আপনারা যারা দেখছেন these are the red flags. আমরা যখন red flag বলে থাকি আপনার ধরে নিতে হবে এই সমস্ত এছাড়াও আরও আছে বাট এই যে কথাগুলি উনি বললেন এটি দিয়ে আপনি বুঝতে পারবেন আপনার বাচ্চার হয়তো হেল্প দরকার আমরা সাধারণত ইগনোর করে যাই অনেক সময় মনে করি আমার বাচ্চা হয়তো ভেরি হাইপার মেবি আমার বাচ্চা বেশি কোক খেয়ে ফেলেছে অথবা সুগার বেশি সো হি অর শি ইজ হাইপার বাট যদি এই হাইপার যে অ্যাক্টিভিটিস কন্টিনিউয়াসলি অল দ্য টাইম হি অর শি ডাজ ইট then it's a sign and you should be careful চলুন আমরা শুরু করি differentiate the IEP and a 504 plan. First of all, what is even though we talked about it last week briefly, IEP, what is it? And what is 504 plan?
Okay. I just want to add also for the ADHD a little bit. So ADHD, aside from all this impulsive and hyperactive behavior, there's also a part of ADHD that's inattentive behavior. So we also have to pay attention when child is always daydreaming and they're not completing their work and forgetting their homework. That could also be a sign of ADHD. So it's not only for the hyperactive, but also for those who are like all daydreaming and forgetting things and not turning in homework.
Okay. So let's start. I think we last episode we started. This is where we ended. So school settings.
School settings. Yes. So for school age settings for children who are 5 years old and above. So there are different classroom settings that is available for them. So we have the general education where all the kids go, or your child might have general education with related services. So related services means they could get OT, they could get occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, or they could get a special education teacher support services. So for example, the child has 30 kids in the classroom, but your child cannot focus doing math or doing reading. So a special ed teacher will come and support your child during that instruction. So it could be still a general education, but then you get support for your child. Or it could be in an integrated co-teaching. So it's called ICT. So you have 2 teachers in the classroom. One is a special ed teacher and one is a regular teacher. So, and also the class is combined. So some of the students have IEP, the Individualized Education Plan, who's receiving services, and some of the students are not receiving services. They are typically developing kids. So they are all together, they are in one classroom. So it's good that they're interacting. The kids with special needs might be imitating the behavior of typically developing kids, and they all learn from one another.
Okay, so let's go to IEP and 504 plan, which is the next slide.
So District 75, so if your child has one of the 13 disabilities that mentioned in the Individuals with Disability Education Act, so they could receive services from this. Most restricted is 6 1-to-1. It means 6 kids, 1 special ed teacher, and 1 assistant teacher. So this is the most like kids with behavioral needs. An 8 1-to-1, 8 kids, 1 special ed teacher, and 1 paraprofessional. 12 1-to-1. This is more like a combined. These are kids with different disabilities, and 12-1-4. So that means 12 kids, 1 teacher, and 4 paraprofessionals. So, and there's also home instruction and hospital instruction. So for kids, for example, kids with cancer, or kids with going through chemotherapy, or kids with having like long-term care, they could still get the services that they need. The services will come to the hospital, or they could come to your house for whatever reasons that you have.
Very well. So I was actually wondering that 611 what it means, and 811 what it means. Basically, it's 6 kids, 1 teacher, and 1 behavioral management person in classroom, so to speak, right? And this is যারা দেখছেন আশা করি এটি আপনাদেরকে হেল্প করবে, বিকজ it just gives you insight, আপনাদেরকে আরেকটু বেশি করে জানাচ্ছে, শেখাচ্ছে যে আপনি কি পেতে যাচ্ছেন, কোন ধরনের মেন্টাল বিহেভিয়ার পেতে যাচ্ছেন যদি আপনার ছেলে বা মেয়ে এরকম হয়ে থাকে। ওকে, লেটস মুভ অন টু দ্য নেক্সট স্লাইড। পরবর্তী স্লাইড যদি আমরা দেখি, ওকে, ABA schools. Let's talk about this.
So this ABA is applied behavior analysis. So this is a science of manipulating the environment to change the behavior and increase the desired behavior or skills, and reducing the problem behavior. So this is intensive education for your child. So these are private schools. So most of them expect, aside from the New York Autism Charter School, you need impartial hearing process, and you need a lawyer to go through this school. So because these schools, you can go through it, if you pay out of pocket, it could cost 100,000 or 150,000 a year. So, but you can also get through this program if you have an impartial hearing process. So I'll explain that later.
So আপনারা যারা শুনছেন, এই যে স্কুলের আপনারা তালিকা দেখলেন অন স্ক্রিনে, যারা দেখছিলেন ABA schools, যদি আপনি পকেট থেকে পে করতে চান, আউট অফ পকেট আপনি নিজে পে করতে চান, আপনার জন্য এটি হবে বছরে $1,00,000, $100,000 ইউ সেড। কিন্তু এটি যদি স্টেট অ্যাপ্রুভড হয়, অথবা আপনি যদি কোয়ালিফাইড হন থ্রু দিস প্রসেস, এই প্রসেস থ্রু কোন প্রসেস সেটি নিয়ে আলোচনা করবো একটু পরে, তাহলে আপনাকে কিছু খরচ করতে হবে না। লেটস লুক এট দ্য নেক্সট স্লাইড।
So this is ASD Nest program. This is more like for kids with autism, but they have more advanced skills. They can work with the regular curriculum. So this is very competitive, and this is in partnership with New York University. And there's also Horizon programs, ACES programs, and AIMS. So if you want to apply for this program, each one of these has different application form, and there's also limited slots for this program. So you have to apply in advance. So if you learn more about these programs and you think like, oh, my child might be appropriate for this kind of program, then you have to contact the person. You can send an email, and they can give you more information. So there's a contact person for each of the district.
How do you get one of these programs, the Horizon programs, the AIMS programs?
Yeah.
How do you where do you contact Even though we're
Yeah.
going to talk about this in detail a little bit later, just briefly.
Yeah, so we have the email address of this program and also your district office. So
Okay.
your district office depends on your where you live, your zip code. So the district office can help you. For example, you're going to District 21 for your community school child. Then the District 21 person can help you apply for this kind of programs, and they can help you like what documentation do you need. So again, your evaluation that we were talking about before, that could help you like,
Okay.
oh, my child has autism, might be qualified for this program.
Yeah, and that's where I think we need a special program just to navigate through
Yes.
the steps and the process, even though we're going to talk about this today, how to navigate those things. But I think we need a special session
Yes.
to how to navigate these things, because when this happens, you're not in the right frame of mind, usually, right? And that is what it should be, because you're busy with your child.
Yes.
So you need a lot of help. One of those help is our job is to make a positive impact to others by helping them, guiding through the right process. And that's why you are here. Let's look at the next slides. Okay. How to look for the best schools.
Yes.
Just like we were saying, let's discuss this one.
So Inside Schools is a website and an organization that can help you find, they have reviews. So reviews from other parents, and also like how are the teachers, are they qualified teachers, how are the programs, do they have like after school activities, do they have sports activities. So you can use Google Maps, and you can also visit the school, and they have parent support group on Facebook. And also like I want to mention the Autism Society Habilitation Organization funded by Miss Rubaya. So this is Bengali families,
Rahman.
Yes.
Yes.
So they organize, and they have like support system. So they can help you like, oh, my child goes to this school, this is a good school. So they can also help you like learn more, because it's from your community, and they understand your culture. And yeah, so and also as a parent, you need a support system that like you don't feel isolated, and you don't feel lonely, like you're taking care of
you are not in a war by yourself.
Yes.
Rather, you have a army of people with you. You are not there just standing and scratching your head. The network, আমরা কথা বলছি যে নেটওয়ার্কটা এই সাপোর্টটা আপনার প্রয়োজন. Let's look at the next slide.
If your child needs services or needs support, they need the Individualized Education Program or plan. So these are for children ages 3 to 21 through CPSE or CSE. So this is a legal document. This is federal document that could help you. Whatever support that you need, the school has to provide for it. So and it's free. So for example, it says there like, oh, your child's IQ and the results of all the assessment, and what does the child needs, the management needs. Does your child needs extended time? Does your child needs a token board, a reward system? Does your child need translation services? So, and what frequency and what class size the child supposed to get, and also the goals. And for example, they need to learn their alphabet, they need to learn math or whatever. The support should be, all the support that your child needs is in this document. So if you go to the meeting, it is important that you have also like support system. So if you have someone that can speak the language, that like can be your translator. If there's no translator in the meeting, you can stop the meeting and I want a translator, and we can reschedule this. And you don't have to sign or agree for everything that they said. Oh, your child's gonna go to like 611, or your child's going to this 1211. But if you feel like your child, I want my child to be in a NEST program because I know my child is capable of doing it, or I want my child to be in a private school. So if you disagree, you don't have to sign it. So you can say like, I want a mediation, or I want an impartial hearing, and you have to say it in front of the meeting, and so they can record it, and it is recorded that you disagree. So you can file the process and continue the process.
Okay, let's look at the next slide. You're talking about impartial hearing. Here you are.
Yes. So impartial hearing, this is not everybody knows about this. This is like it's very hard to find information about this, and I have spoke with families, so how they know about this. They go through months and years of research before they find information about how to go through this impartial hearing. So even from
Why does this happen? Why the hearing takes place? What has been denied? Is something is denied
Yes.
or service is denied?
Yes.
Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so we say like services denied, delayed is services denied. So like justice delayed, justice denied. So like, for example, during the pandemic, the child did not receive services. So the child is qualified for ABA, the child is qualified for early intervention, but nobody comes to the house and you don't get services. So for example, your child's supposed to get 20 hours of ABA and you only receive 10 hours. So you can have impartial hearing, like I only receive this amount of hours. I want compensatory services. So they can provide those hours that you missed. And they can, it is your right as a parent to ask for those services that your child deserves.
Right.
And also, like, if you disagree for whatever reason, like the school setting, if you disagree with the classroom setting, or if you, for example, your child is having behavioral issue, your child is biting, scratching, punching, but then there's no behavioral plan and they did not follow the behavioral plan, so then your child needs qualifies for these services. So you can have an impartial hearing process. So there's a link and there's a form that you need to file, and this is the email address and the phone number of the person. So you will have an impartial hearing officer assigned to you. This process could take months, or it could maybe take years. A year. I emailed you this time and you did not respond. So like, for example, I emailed you, so it's been 6 months, there's no response. Like I want my child to have a one-to-one paraprofessional. I want my child to have a busing because the special school that the child gets is in Manhattan and I live in East New York, or I live in Jackson Heights. So like, it takes 2 hours for my child to go to school. So there's a way that you can get a busing. You can have a bus para. You can have a bus that takes you like only less than 2 hours or 1 hour. So your child doesn't have to be tired before your child goes to school. They're already tired because like it's the long bus ride. So there are ways that you can get support, but this will take a lot of your time following up, preparing your paperwork, and emailing people and calling people. So, and also you have to have your proper documentation.
Those are the reasons you need hearing, and it is the impartial hearing you need. And according to you, and I also searched, not too much helpful information is out there, and it's very difficult to find the correct one. So let's look at the next slide.
Okay, so the 504 plan.
504 plan.
So we mentioned before the IEP. And the IEP is the Individualized Education Plan. If your child has one of the 13 disabilities covered by Individuals with Education Act. But this is 504 plan. If the child does not have those 13 disabilities, one of those 13 disabilities, this is for your child who can get support but does not require like a lot of services, or this can be like extended testing time, or enlarged type direction, or preferential seating, or you can have if your child has diabetes or needs a medication, so or your child has an asthma. So a 504 plan can you can get a nurse to administer the medication. So you still need to go to a doctor. You need a qualifying health or a disability that could qualify you to get a 504 plan. So this is a civil rights. It's protecting your child's civil rights. So against discrimination.
So আপনারা বুঝতে পারছেন why civil right is so important. It's really important for our existence. Anyway, let's look at the next slide. Advocacy.
Yes.
Big thing.
Yes. So all this information is overwhelming for everybody.
Correct.
So in order to get through this, there are advocacy groups like Advocates of Children of New York, include NYC, Synergia, Autism Speaks, that you can get more information. They provide workshop, they provide parent support group, they provide resources, how to get ABA services at your house. So somebody can help your child in feeding and toilet training and like using an AAC device, and what is AAC, like a communication, like an iPad. Like if your child is nonverbal, there are other ways that they can communicate, like a picture exchange system or a sign language or an AAC device. That all these services that can help you. So like you have your educational support in schools, but they can also get services at home and in the community, and they can get someone can help you if your child is in the playground, so you can have like social skills, develop the social skills with other kids. So all these services or sports services that someone can help you teach your child how to ride a bike or swimming lessons. So these are all services that's free and available for you, but we just have to look for where to look for this information.
Okay. Let's look at the next slide.
So as we said, like the impartial hearing
Legal
process,
assistance.
Yes, the impartial hearing, we need the legal assistance. We cannot go through impartial hearing process all by ourselves.
Not possible.
Yes, so we need a legal assistance group. So there is a legal aid society, and we're also recommending the New York Legal Assistance Group. So these are free also. You can get lawyers for free. So if you feel like your child is discriminated, for example, the 504 plan, you said like, oh, my child needs an extended time during Regents exam because my child has ADHD, or my child needs medication, but the school is not providing that services. So you can get help through this legal aid society.
The school can deny you. You don't know the legal process. I don't know the legal process, but the legal aid services, আপনারা contact করবেন, they will help you. Let's look at the last slide that we have for today's program.
Office of People with Developmental Disability. This is very important, and we want everybody with a diagnosis to get through this. So they thought like, oh, OPWD is only for children or adults, but no, we have to start early. As soon as you get your diagnosis, from early intervention, if your child was diagnosed with disabilities at age 1, you can attend the open door. This is the first step that you have to do. That's the website, and that's the link. So you can see if your child is qualified or not. And there are so many services that you can get through this. So one of my students received a respite care. So a family member could come and support you, and they could get paid too. So they will manage your budget.
So this is also part of the managed care.
Yes, so
Wow.
they can manage your budget, and you can have self-directed, like you manage your own budget. So the government will give you a budget. That is the one that we recommend, and then you can find services for your child. You want swimming classes, you want summer camps, you want your child to get tutorial. So the services that's not covered by Medicaid and services that's not covered by the school, you can get it through OPWD.
Okay.
And also, like, for example, if your child aged out of school, so where do you take your child?
Yeah.
Your child is 22 years old, staying at your house.
Yeah, it cannot go back to high school.
Yeah.
You passed that time.
Yeah, and also if your child is 21, the parents might be in 60s or
Of course.
and who will take care? No family member would take care of your child. And so what will you do? So it's very hard to find services for adult kids. So we have to get OPWDD as early as you can. The process may take longer, may 6 months, how long the process is.
You have that choice. You have to
go
make that
push
choice.
through it.
Right.
So you can get your child, because like, for example, God forbid, one of the parent or the mother died.
Passes away, yeah.
Who's gonna take care of your child? So
That's right.
there are residential programs, there are living assistance program that your child could get. So as early as now, start the process of the OPWDD. So you know that there's a life plan for a child. You don't have to be worried like, oh, who's gonna take care of my child when I pass away, or what, or if you get sick, or if you have multiple kids in the house. That some families have 2 or 3 kids with autism or with multiple disabilities. So we need to get, like, there's a crisis team that could come and help you, or there is someone, it is like a community habilitation that can help your child brush their teeth, toilet training, or like helping them to be independent. So there's so many services out there, but you have to start the process. Don't be afraid, don't be
sooner
scared.
Is the better.
Yes.
The sooner is the better, and there is no other option. Sherry and Chishti, I really, really appreciate you, and thank you for coming and sharing such detail with us. I know we are just scratching the surface.
Yes.
Because we have not, I just want to set everybody's expectation right, that this is something we are doing with professional help, certified people, such as you, and we are going to continue this work.
Yes.
I once again thank you very much for coming and making time, and I will see you again. I don't know that how to thank you, because I know many people, it will be eye-opener for today's program. So I'll see you around. If you have any last word for our viewers.
Yes. So I just want to share that, in our religion, so we have to provide for those who are needy, and the Eid is coming, so we know we have to provide we have to always remember and take care of those who are less fortunate. And we don't blame the mothers. Please do not blame the parents of the child. Oh, maybe your child is like this because you're not a good mother. Please don't do that. And always include family members of children with disabilities in any occasions. And you have a picnic, don't be ashamed of your child. Accept them, but also give them support. We cannot just love them, but then we baby them. Like I have students 15 years old with still wearing diaper, but please don't do that. There's someone can help you do whatever it is, but please get support and please get help.
Yeah. So this is a social issue. আপনারা যারা এতক্ষণ অনুষ্ঠানটি দেখছিলেন, আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লেগেছে, এবং এটি একটি পর্যায়ে যখন আমরা এটির ধারাবাহিক বেশ কিছু অনুষ্ঠান করব। আজকের দুটি অনুষ্ঠান, গত পর্ব এবং আজকের পর্ব দুটি হলো ইংরেজিতে, কিন্তু এটা আমরা বাংলায় করব, কারণ এটি আপনাদের সবার জন্য জানার দরকার আছে। এই অটিজম বা ADHD, এই চ্যালেঞ্জের আপনি একা নন, TBN আছে আপনার পাশে এবং থাকবে সবসময়। আশা করি আপনিও থাকবেন আমাদের সাথে। শুভরাত্রি।
TBN 24 টেলিভিশন দেখতে আজই কল করুন 7187776556। লগ ইন করুন www.totalcablebd.com।
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত TBN 24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।